Now, what I'm saying here is not an objective truth. This is more of a conversation that I would like to have. Now, most of you from primary school are going to be very familiar with the fact that we've got three classifications of rock. We've got igneous, we've got sedimentary, and we've got metamorphic. Now, when I say moldavite, which is a variety of tektite, I'm not just talking about moldavite, I'm talking about tektites more broadly. Now, a tektite is essentially a byproduct of a meteorite impact. When that meteorite makes contact with the continental or oceanic crust, generates an enormous amount of heat, thrusts silica into the air, and it essentially cools in the air, much like obsidian, for example. Now, obsidian is where this nuance and where this thought process has come from, because there are three different classifications of rock, and believe it or not, obsidian actually falls into this classification. It's a bit of a grey area between being a mineraloid, so a volcanic glass, and being an actual rock, but it is categorized as being an igneous form of rock, despite the fact that rocks are generally characterized by being sort of a conglomerate or sort of like a composite of various different minerals, whereas obsidian, despite being categorized as an igneous form of rock, is for the most part just a volcanic glass. Now, obsidian is a volcanic glass, this is an impact glass, but it hasn't been formed by volcanic activity. So, considering that they are structurally more or less the same thing, and they don't easily fit into any of the other categories, could we perhaps theoretically consider something like a tektite, a byproduct of a meteorite impact, to be a fourth category of rock, given the fact that obsidian has been afforded the ability to slide gingerly and unlubricated into the category of igneous. Now, tektites again are impact glasses. There's lots of different iterations. I chose moldavite because most of you know what that is, or you have at least heard of it. With igneous rock, for example, this is generally inferred to be material that has come about as a result of volcanic activity. You could look at the etymology of the word, which essentially comes from kind of ignition, if you think of this. So you could wrap sort of just heat around this, but of course lots of minerals form as a result of heat, and I can get onto that. So despite the fact that the word heat is kind of casually inferred in the etymology of the word, the actual anchored definition of what is igneous is generally wrapped around volcanic activity. A tektite couldn't fall into sedimentary, which is essentially layers of sediment which basically press down and then push down and then start to cement and concrete. So we can't push it into that category because it meets none of the criteria whatsoever. And it's certainly not a metamorphic material, because metamorphic material is absolutely nothing even vaguely similar to this. Metamorphism is essentially that process of enormous amounts of heat and pressure triggering chemical change, which causes one rock to change to another rock, or one mineral to change to another mineral. Now, this is an interesting conversation that I would like to have, precisely because I don't think it's a conversation that anyone else is having. This is not formed as a result of volcanic activity. Nonetheless, it still exists. It more or less consists of exactly the same material that something like obsidian is comprised of, and it's structurally almost identical to obsidian. They are both amorphous glasses, but obsidian is allowed to be a rock, and it's allowed to be ushered into the category of igneous. These cannot be ushered into the category of igneous because they haven't come about as a result of volcanic activity. So where the hell do we put them?